Good evening. Thank you to everyone that has joined this forum, and a special thank you to the candidates for not only making this forum a priority, but for putting your name forward to serve the residents of this amazing town we all love. I will be moderating this event. And for those who do not know me, my name is Monica St. Dennis, and I'm the president of the Sundre District Chamber of Commerce. And my full-time job is community manager for ATB Financial in Sundre and Caroline. I do have a couple short thank yous to make. I would like to thank Kim Free from Small Town Girl Productions, who is one of the most talented ladies you will ever meet. She's also a real gem to work with. Kim has allowed us to run on her host platform. And unfortunately, we did have technical difficulties, so this is going to be recorded, but this will also be on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. I would invite everyone to share the recording with anyone that you feel should see this. I would also like to thank Heather Hicks, our office manager, for making our posters, monitoring Facebook daily, and really everything she does for us on a daily basis. Well, we will now start with the introductions of the candidates, including their platform. They will each have a maximum of 3 minutes each. And I do recommend that if you have further questions after, to reach out to the candidates. They are all very approachable, and I'm sure would love to hear from all of you. So we are going to start with the mayor candidates, and that will be, our first up is Sherry Funky. Go ahead, Sherry.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us this evening. I'm not going to fill you with promises that I can't keep. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what I've done and been a part of, and ask you to give me the opportunity to be the true leader in this town. I'm from this town, I grew up in this town, and I want to be a part of the positive future that Sundre has. I've sat on council for 8 years, led by 2 different mayors. It has given me insight on what to do and not to do as mayor. Important duties of the mayor are to lead and unite all of council, to foster healthy debate, and be the voice of council as a whole. I have no personal agenda. I'm fully and completely here because of the respect I have for the position of mayor, municipal government, and the community as a whole. I've not only spent my time on council educating myself in the many aspects of municipal governance, including municipal finance, planning and development, and municipal partnerships. I've also made contacts throughout the province with committees for Alberta Urban Municipalities of Alberta, which include an ad hoc police committee and their Safe and Healthy Communities Committee. I've also been in a part of 2 project teams for the Alberta Water Council, one of which resulted in them releasing a paper on Alberta water futures. I've had many questions since I went public with my nomination, but a common reoccurring question is, how am I going to protect seniors? I'm acutely aware that Sundre has double the provincial average of seniors. I am also aware and fully support that Sundre has amazing resources for seniors. GMP, the Spruce Committee, and the Senior Center are all very valuable to our seniors for their mental health and their physical health. Seniors, working class, and our youth need attention, not just one group. I vow to do my very best to protect all age demographics in Sundre. We need to be focused on fiscal responsibility that benefits all residents and businesses. If we focus on how to benefit one demographic, we leave all the others to carry the financial burden. One of council's main objectives is to pass a budget that not only covers the operations of the municipality, but also makes sure to plan and save for the future. I'm proud to acknowledge this past council has made great strides by passing policy to ensure that the future councils have a guideline to achieve success. And I've proven that I am an effective counselor. I am now asking to gain your vote so I can prove that I can be an effective and strong mayor that this community needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. And now, Patty, we will go to you.
Hello. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here tonight. My name is Patty Lapointe, and I am your candidate for mayor. I have taken the liberty of jotting down a few words that I would like to share with you. On May 1st of 2000, Sundre became home for my husband, myself, and our son, Dallas. It didn't take long to become involved and invested in this great community. My background of 35 years is in customer service. Taking care of people is what matters most to me. More recently, I've also become an advocate and a facilitator for mental health and healing. Over the past week or so, some of you may have seen my social media posts inciting honesty, integrity, transparency, invested, community, dedicated, reliable, growth, sustainability, and accountability. These are not just words, they are who I am and what I believe in. Sundre was built by our seniors. Today it relies on residents and local businesses. Tomorrow it will need our children and our grandchildren. What are we doing to ensure their future and our sustainability? I believe there needs to be a new direction moving forward. The world around us is changing and we are not going back to the way it was, and why would we want to? The time is now for us to create a new path forward to our future. In order to do that, we need a fresh new approach. It is my intention to work with our new council to find a new way forward, to integrate what needs to be integrated and leave behind what needs to be left behind. I come before you today on the cusp of everything that can be new and ask for your vote as the next mayor for Sundre. The only promise I can make is that I continue to be active and invested in our community, to listen to your ideas, your concerns, and be your voice in council when needed. So why would you vote for me having no previous council experience? Even though I don't have that experience, the support of administration and my counselors, we can learn together. What cannot be taught is how strongly I feel about our community, family, and friends. It is no secret that COVID has impacted each and every one of us. My concern is how people and businesses are coping, both mentally and financially, and how we as a council can be more supportive to our community. I believe that the power of the people has been lost to the power of the government, and this needs to change. On October 18th, please put your trust in me and exercise your vote and let your voice be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Richard.
Thank you, Monica. And thank you to everyone for attending, and good luck to all the candidates. As a candidate for mayor, I have been campaigning, asking questions, and seeking advice. The one question that keeps coming up at the top of the list is, what are you going to do for me and the town of Sundre? And I answer, strong, experienced leadership. What that means is totally understanding the role of your chief elected official that's designated by the province of Alberta and the Municipal Government Act. That is, in our town, our mayor. As you know, the mayor has all council responsibilities and many more, and I will do all of these to the best of my ability. As your mayor, I will continue my work towards complete transparency by advocating for monthly reports from all of council and 2 town hall council meetings per year, one before spring and fall workshops, so that the right issues and discussions are on those agendas. I will lead debate on the issues and opportunities that you, our residents and entrepreneurs, bring forward for discussion. Within this debate, I will champion for equality for all age groups, not only the issues, but with the restraints of tight budget controls. Budget control equals tax control, and I have definitely heard this message. I will work with administration to find efficiencies in our operations, to hold the line on taxes, and to explore ways to lower them if at all possible, such as increasing our commercial investment in town. My platform is based on Sundre: strong leadership, understanding the needs and desires of our residents and entrepreneurs. Good things are happening in Sundre, and thanks to the council and administration that has been sitting, things are happening. Downtown upgrades, storefront improvements, new tree plantings, commercial investment with new builds on the west side, Alberta Health Services eSIM lab here in our town, the new passive recreation area over the next few years to be developed not only for tourism, but for our residents to enjoy year-round recreation. And of course, the big story is our lagoon upgrade, where we're going to bring new technology that will help all of Albertans and have our taxpayers save millions of dollars over the next 20 to 25 years. New work needs to be done to continue to explore opportunities, and a total commitment by all of your elected council members is required to gain knowledge, to make decisions that provide administration with good governance. I want to be the next mayor and will use my 50+ years of industry experience with other associations, provincial and federal board of directors, including government negotiations. 2 years on Sundre's Municipal Planning Commission and the past 4 years on your council. I ask for your support, and I ask you to vote for me, Richard Warnock, for your next mayor.
Thank you, Richard. We will now start with our candidates for council. We will, as I'm not sure if you guys clued in, but I am going in alphabetical order. So Connie Anderson.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I was and am a Saskatchewan farm boy, and I played hockey all over that province and ended up in Provost, Alberta in 1970. 1971, I went on a blind date, and we've been married since 1972. The first 10 years of our married and family life, we moved around quite a bit in the tire business, from Provost to Lloydminster to Fort Saskatchewan, then down to Basha for nearly 15 years. In Basha, I served on town council, fire department, rec board, chairman of the golf course. 1990, we had a chance to move to Sundre and take over a business. Since we've got here, I've been very active in the community, coaching minor hockey, president of minor hockey, vice president and president of the chamber, and now I'm chairman of the Hockey Alberta Discipline Committee. And that's after 8 years of being the Zone 6 disciplinary coordinator. I also umpire ball and have for numerous years. I'd like to thank my wife, Pat, for her support, as well as my staff that will be running my business when I'm busy doing town duties. We've been here in Sundre now for 31+ years. I found it to be very vibrant and exciting. The town has grown some in that time, and I want to be part of leading it into a solid economic future. It is a big business and needs to be run as such. As in my own business, there needs to be controls and tough decisions made. I want to see the budgets and plans before any solid new plans are affected and started. We need streets redone, maintained, infrastructure worked on and updated. We have facilities that need some work, and it'll be fun working on council and getting a solution for all these problems. So in conclusion, I'd like to see a very strong economic Sundre grow and prosper. Thank you, and please vote.
Thank you, Connie. Todd?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for taking the time tonight. My name is Todd Dolke, family of 2, happily married, been 10 years in Sundre. Quite enjoy it. Same as everybody here, it's not complicated. All of us that want to go on council want to help our community. We're all part of it. Some of us sit on various boards, on or off our various 28 different committees we share between council. And really, myself, like others, we're here to see us grow. We need the economical housing for all ages. We need more facilities for our elderly. We need increased trails for fitness and education for the young couples. and we need industry and business to get brought back to town. Pretty much continuation of our last 4 years, making not to complicate it by any means, but that's about it. Sorry, my camera cut out again. Hopefully you heard me. I'm that short. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. William?
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm William Davies. I am experienced, responsible, and engaging. I support development planning, recreation, culture, and history. My municipal government experience began as a conservation coordinator for the County of Wetaskiwin, County of Clearwater, and the Great Wooded Forage Association. My office was in the provincial building in the town of Rimbey. During this time, Rimbey needed a new ice hockey recreation arena. A new arena committee had been formed to raise funds to get the project started. After unenthusiastic responses from town council, the project was shelved and the committee was dissolved. I ran for and was elected to Rimbey Town Council. The Liberal government of Canada, under Prime Minister Jean Chrétien, made infrastructure grants available to municipalities. Rimbey was eligible for $250,000. Town council wanted to allocate all to roads and sidewalks. I called the former chair of the new arena committee. I asked him, if I can get you $125,000, will the committee reassemble and restart the arena project? He said, I'll call you back, Will. Later came the answer, yes, and that Shell Canada will make a sizable donation once they see a commitment from the town. Great, you will have $125,000 to start the project. I expressed myself at council. The town did allocate $125,000, half the grant. The new arena committee reformed. Shell Canada contributed. Rimbey eventually built a new ice hockey recreation arena. My story matters, folks, because local government moved to support the community, thereby bringing people together. Folks, I have two questions to ask yourselves. Why are we here, living our lives in Sundre? And what is the Sundre you envision for the future? I want to leave you with this insightful remark from Wagon Trails Plowed Under by the Eagle Valley Book Club. It was written by Loretta Judkins. Upon further reflection, it will be remembered that we had wholesome food, freedom of the countryside, and an opportunity to acquire an appreciation of nature. This all added up to a pretty good life. So folks, together as a community, let's look ahead by looking back. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Paul?
Thank you, Monica. Thank you, Kim. And I wish all the candidates best of luck. And thank you to all of you who are listening in. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm going to be looking up and down because I can't seem to always remember what I'm going next here. But I've lived in Sundre. My family has lived in Sundre for almost 30 years. Presently, I am working, I started a new job with GTI Petroleum. I'm looking after their Caroline card lock, and we are building a brand new retail card lock site in Sundre, which I will also be looking after. Before that, I spent close to 18, 19 years working at the Cook Fuel Products in Sundre. And before that, what brought us to Sundre from Manitoba was I was the director for Camp Evergreen, a Christian kids camps, and I was there for about 8 years. My wife, Brenda, and I celebrated our 40th anniversary this last summer. We have 3 married children, and in 1 month from now, we are expecting our 11th grandchild, which we are very proud of. I've told my wife I will never be able to retire because the amount of money she spends on my grandchildren, I need to keep working. So we love our kids and love our grandkids. We raised our kids in Sundre. For the past 27 years, we've been very active. I've been very active in sundry athletics, coaching, reffing, umping, school sports, volunteering, watching Owen learn how to play basketball, or I mean volleyball. One of the strongest beliefs I have personally, and also as a counselor, as I've been on for a few terms, I believe that a strong belief in families and kids, as I've spent basically my entire life working with kids. I believe that in a town, this town, if we want to continue growing, we need to attract families to visit and to stay here. One of the things that shocked me when I started a number of years ago was the tax base in Sundre was 82% of our revenue came from residences. 18% of our revenue came from businesses. There's no way any municipality can sustain itself when the amount of infrastructure in our ground is 50 years and older. The amount of money to update ourselves and stay sustainable, you can't have that. I'm proud to say that we've changed that by 9.4%. As of 2021, that 82% from residential income has gone to 72.6%, and businesses have gone from 18% to 27.4%. And I think that's one thing the next council needs to continue working on, is generating a higher business percentage for our revenue, or else the taxes come out of our residents. It has to be helping with that. Last night we received 7.5 pages of positives that we've seen in our town over the last 4 years. And I won't really go through them. You've heard Richard has said quite a few of them. But I think one of the things I believe in strongly is families. I believe in kids. And I think if we want to be sustainable, we have to have avenues for families to want to come here. We have to have businesses so that there's places to work. We have to have homes where they can live. And I think as long as we continue on this path, I think that will help our sustainability. So I'm looking forward to another 4 years. Make sure, like Connie said, make sure you come out and vote. I'm asking you to vote for me. I'll say one more thing, but I'll say that toward the end. I believe Monica will have one last.
Hopefully you can fit it in a question, Paul. Okay, Doug. We can't hear you, Doug. Your mute button. There you go.
Let's try that. How's that? Welcome to all. Good luck to all the candidates out there. My name's Doug Levesque. I was born and raised in Water Valley, moved around Alberta a bit from Lethbridge to Bragg Creek, Calgary, and back to Sundre, where we now call home. Being retired now, I've decided to give back to the community, which has been good to us for the past 20 years plus. Being family orientated, keeping existing families, attracting new families, very important to me and important to our community. Sundre is family which has been here for generations, and they want to see their community prosper for many generations to come. Resident involvement is so important for growth. My past work experience, I feel, can do much for our community as a team member. 50 years plus experience with industry associations, federal, provincial board directors positions, instructors, safety positions, and operations. As we move forward, we must ensure our seniors and our young adults are kept safe, busy in our community, holding line on taxes, motivating council to develop new ways to move forward will ensure our community will prosper. As community members, this is your chance to help develop positive changes in your community. Please get out and vote and be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Jamie?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Jamie Marr, and I am running for a seat on council. I am a happily married woman of 16 years, and I have 3 children. I consider Sundre my home. I did, in fact, graduate from the lovely high school here way back in the 90s, but I will not age myself. I am the oldest of 5 girls. I was brought up and raised by a single mother. I enjoy and appreciate strong, independent women and consider myself to be one. I'm a horrible cook, but I do love to eat. I am a Christian, but I do not attend church here in Sundre. I graduated with a diploma in secondary education from Red Deer College, and I've completed a Bachelor of Arts in Social Science from the University of Lethbridge. I am an entrepreneur and have my own company that I love and I run here in Sundre. I am campaigning primarily on faith, family, and fun. Have faith in me, unite like family, and have fun. I have always considered running for council, but never felt like it was the right time. But after having some discussions with my husband and after making some career changes recently, I feel like now would be a really great time to get involved. Unique perspective to council. I'm minded, I'm opinionated, and I'm compassionate. I will bring the voice of the female to council. I believe there's only 2 women running for council, and I think it's important to have a female voice heard. I will represent the working mother, the stay-at-home mother, and the entrepreneur. I value hard work, self-determination, community engagement, sustainable practices, freedom, faith, and the outdoor family living. I believe that I will be a voice for a large section of our community, and I want to build upon the greatness that Sundre is and continue to move it forward in that direction. So thank you very much. Vote for me on the 18th.
Thank you, Jamie. Owen.
Hello, everyone. My name is Owen Peterson. Thank you, Kim and Monica, for organizing all of this, and all the other candidates for throwing their name in the hat. This is pretty great. Honored to be alongside everyone. I was born and raised here in Sundre, and then gallivanted around Alberta, living in the big cities for several years, and have moved back to Sundre about 5 years ago with my partner as we raise our 2 little kids here in town. I've always been really interested in municipal politics. My first work experience at the high school here in town was at the town office. And yeah, it's very similar to Jamie's story. I've always considered and looked into municipal politics, and now in my life, it is just a good time to throw my name in. My priorities in town is mostly quality of life. There's a lot that a municipal council has to deal with, and every part of it contributes to your quality of life. But a big one for me is recreation. A diverse infrastructure of recreation here in town for everybody, no matter your mobility and no matter how much money you have in your recreation budget. I think it's important that a community has a lot of diversity, from clean sidewalks and trails to really nice hockey rinks and everything in between. Whatever the community can afford and support, I believe there needs to be a strong focus on that. That trickles right down to being welcoming to tourists as they come to town and find a lot of recreation infrastructure. And it also enhances residents, our quality of life as we live here. I hope to live in this town the rest of my life, and I'm going to be running for council. I hope everyone gets out there and votes on the 18th. And good luck to all the other candidates.
Thank you, Owen. Carolyn.
Hi, my name is Carolyn Sykes, and I'm running for a seat on council. Jason, Timothy, and myself moved to Sundre 6 years ago. We instantly fell in love with the town and surrounding areas. This is where we want to retire. I volunteer for the Sundre Museum and a volunteer on the Sundre Vision Committee. This has been a wonderful experience and has made me a better person. I've worked for municipalities for 6 years, and I know how the municipality works on the things that can be done and the things that can't be done or controlled by council. I believe in communication, respect, and fairness. Like a business, communication goes a long way. I will always listen to your concerns and hopefully come to a resolution. If there is no resolution, we will continue to work until there is one. Respect is something we all need to earn. Just because I'm voted in does not mean I'll automatically have your respect. I know I need to earn it. And fairness is one of my pet projects. I believe fairness should be there for all. A lot of things have changed in the last 2 years, and I hope that we can learn more about each other for the next years. How people see themselves has changed a lot. The time for change has come. Most people identify themselves using pronouns now, which I didn't exactly know what that meant, so I asked someone close to me to explain. We need to ask more questions so we have clarity on subjects that we are not comfortable with. My wish for this election is to be diversified. We do need to have some females on council to give that, female perspective to the town, and where women can feel confident and safe to come and have conversations with us. And I hope that you vote for me, and thank you for tuning in, and thanks.
Thank you, Carolyn. Chris.
Sorry, my bad, Chris. I think I muted you. Yeah.
There we go. You can hear me now. Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Vardis. I'm running for council. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm a business owner here in town. I came here 31 years ago, and on the purpose of starting a business and maybe starting a life here. And I just fell in love. I was a young teenager thinking one day I'd leave Sundre, and here I am anyways. It's a gem. It's a gem. Sundre is a gem. It should be treated like a gem. When you come on top of those hills and you see those mountains, you just can't help but falling in love in Sundre, and that's what I did. So I dedicated my life to making a home here, investing here, making proud for my family. I'm married 18 years. I've got 2 beautiful children. One's driving almost, which is scary. But I've come to. I was on council for 8 years prior to this, and I've worked with some great council, and I've learned a lot of things along the ways. I'm going to keep mine nice and short. I'm trying to make a life here in Sundre where we're good. We take care of our seniors, but yet at the same time we're bringing in youth. Sundre, we need a little bit of tourism. We need industry. We need to create jobs. We need homes for young families. We need young families moving in, and that's part of the beautification as well as our community, because it's all about eye candy. If someone's coming in on top of the hill and you got those mountains and you come into a beautiful community, who wouldn't want to live here? What does Banff and Canmore have that Sundre doesn't? Nothing, minus the ski hill. The people are nicer, we're cheaper to live here, and it's a great place to be. We're an hour from each city, and that's what I like to push, is more tourism, more business. So we're all sustainable. If we don't have business coming in and people moving in, then nothing, it won't balance. Life won't balance, and we need to balance it all out. And there's nothing more than being able to contribute back to a community and saying, you know what, my kids when they're going to move out, come back home with their loved ones and starting their family exactly where we started, which is a wonderful feeling. And turn around to your family and say, you know what, we helped do this. Sundre, the community, the council helped do this. So that's what I want to do. So I want to keep it nice and short. I'm going to wish everybody good luck to everybody. And please vote Chris Vardis. And it'd be an honor to sit with any one of you guys on that chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And last but not least, Rob.
Good evening, everybody. And I want to wish everybody good luck in the election come October 18th. I'm looking for your vote for re-election of council. About me, I've been married for about 29 years and we have 2 adult children and 2 grandbabies. I can't stand up to Paul's 11, but I have. I'm originally from Calgary, where I grew up pretty much my whole life, to England from 2001 to 2006. I have volunteered on various organizations over many years. So I decided 4 years ago to run for council. as another way to give back to this great community. I have enjoyed my first term serving this community, and it would be an honor to get your vote to continue to serve you for the next 4 years so we continue the growth we have seen that will only get better. Why vote for me, you ask? Well, I'm passionate for our community, and I want to make the best Sundre the best place to live for new and current residents. I will always base my decisions on what is in the best interest of our great town. I believe that being honest, having integrity, and being open are key to successful relationships. There have been a lot of good news stories and challenges that have happened over the last 4 years, and would like to continue to create great success stories and step up to the challenges that we may face. Over the last 4 years serving as your counselor, I feel that I have the valuable leadership skills and experience that is needed to continue to work for you and this community as your town councillor. My goals, not promises, are to continue to advocate on holding the line on taxes, to continue to promote affordable housing, working towards attracting new businesses and supporting existing, continue working on upgrading infrastructure both in ground and above. And I'd like to promote year-round tourism to make Sundre a destination. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rob. Thank you all for the introduction and your platforms. We are going to start with some questions. So we will start with question for mayor candidates. What are your top 3 items of focus for the town of Sundre? And Sherry, we will start with you for that answer.
Always seems to be me first. My top 3 would be the lagoon. We have the beginnings in place, but I'd like to see that through to the end. The second is I'd like to see council focus on communication. We need to make sure that we are making every effort to get as much information out to the community as possible. And the third, we need to work on council itself. Council has been broken and we haven't hid that well from the public. So we need to grow as a team so that we can be a stronger force in the community. That's it.
Thank you, Sherry. Patty, do you want me to repeat the question?
No, I think I got it. My top 3 focuses, correct?
Yes.
Okay. First, I would have to stay with local business and support for our local business. Infrastructure and unity among all residents everywhere. Pull together, not push apart. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Richard?
Thank you. My top 3 items that I think are main focused is I agree with Sherry on the fact that our lagoon is a wonderful technology coming in, and we need to work with that to have it come to completion and get that around our entire province. I do agree that the communication is important with our residents, and public participation needs to come to the forefront. We need to work on that. It's important that we find a way to get that out there, but to listen to you and then work towards solutions. And my third one is, to be honest, is our budget. Strong leadership on our capital budget as well as our operating budget is required in order to make it balanced budget without tax increases. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. All right, first question for current councillors. What contributions have you made to the community in the last term that warrants re-election? And we will start with Todd.
I'm sorry, my internet connection is too poor. Can you say that again? Or can you hear me now?
Monica, you'll have to
Hear the
unmute.
question, Monica, sorry.
Hi. What contributions have you made to the community in the last term that warrants re-election?
All right, that was a mess too, but I think I got it. 3 contributions. Jeepers, I don't think I could throw out 3 actually, anything in specific. I've been a part of our GNP boards, you know, local museum, of course, which was not part of council. And several others. So I don't think there's any specific one I would say is you know, the highest of accomplishments. The only one that would come to mind is the internet that's gotten in the ground and we've moved forward on it and it's coming to the doors. But other than that, with those groups and people that I've been involved with, quite enjoyed it. Yeah.
Todd, sorry, I think like you might have missed the question was, what contributions have you made to warrant re-election? That's what the question is.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, because you said 3. I was like, okay.
Because we got water treatment, because we got internet, because we put a park in, those aren't good reasons for me. No, there's no one individual project over the last 4 years besides internet that is going to affect the community as a whole. Like everything else as a contribution, bit by bit, it's been built on level by level. And without each one of them, without our policies in place, we wouldn't have our economic standards. We wouldn't have our development standards for when we have new developers come to Brown to build the subdivisions for the proper housing for our residents. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Todd. I just wanted to make sure that you didn't think 3 was in there. Okay, and Paul, please.
Well, I guess some of the things that we've done as a council that I've been part of is making policies which gives the administration the direction to go out and make decisions and further the town. Some of the areas that come up is the lagoon system. About 6 years ago, we were told that was going to cost us between 30 and 50 million. We now are in the process of putting that up together with the new facility at about 11.5 million, of which 7.5 million is coming from the province of Alberta. And the company who's putting it up is paying for the entire amount up front. Once it's proven itself, which will be about a year down the road, and is at that point that Sundre will have to pay their portion, of which we already have put away. So there'll be no borrowing, no debenture, of which we thought would be around 30 to 50 million. So it's a huge, huge win for Sundre. As Todd mentioned, fiber optics is going in to no cost to businesses, no cost to residences, no cost to the town. The new ice plant has been put in this last year, which allowed ice to go into Sundre in September for the first time in probably 12, 15 years, saving Sundre minor hockey an awful lot of money by not having to go to Caroline and other towns. This year, our audit financial statement was completed on time, and there was no recommendations this year. A year without recommendations has not happened ever in the history of Sundre, which is amazing. Very good leadership in our finances with at the present time in our administration. We also partnership with Campus Alberta Central, joint venture with Red Deer College and Olds. We experienced the boardwalk on Saturday. I was very impressed. There was a couple from Vancouver that drove out to see it. She has 2 tourism businesses in Vancouver, and she is very interested in bringing tourism to people from all parts of Canada and maybe even further to Sundre for I don't know how long, which was going to benefit restaurants, hotels. It's going to benefit Sundre. So the tourism is also been a part of that. There are others, but those are just a few. I think it's important for council to understand what is going to benefit Sundre, make policies to allow administration to go ahead and move forward with that.
Great. Thank you so much, Paul. And Rob.
I do agree with Sherry, Paul, Richard. The lagoon is a huge benefit to saving our taxpayers money going forward. So that's the major one. You know, yesterday at our council meeting, Linda presented a 7-page document. I think Paul mentioned that of all the successes that this council and administration has achieved. So, you know, I don't want to touch on all of them, but Lagoon, one of them. Eagle Hills development is going forward. It's been a pain and a thorn in the side for Sundre for many years. That is going to move forward. So I'm happy and proud to say that that's going to move forward. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much. For our new candidates, if you were elected, what skills or past achievements will you bring with you to the council team? And we will start with Connie.
Well, I've got past council experience, and running my own business gives me lots of experience that I can use at the table when we're talking about deliberations, and experience with recreation, being on rec boards, golf course, lots of different experience in life. That's all I got to say.
Great, thanks, Connie. And William?
So the question is about what experience we bring to council?
Yeah, if you're elected, what skills or past achievements will you bring with you to the council team?
Okay, so over my career, my main focus has been in conservation, working with partnerships, agricultural service boards, environmental advisory boards, municipal planning commissions. To me, it's all about people. If you can't work with people, nothing gets done. So it's about building cooperation. It's about building collaboration. It's about building teamwork. And it's about everyone pulling in the same direction. And if you have a private agenda, I believe you shouldn't be running for council. Especially in our community, we got so much in Sundre. It's unbelievable. And I think we're just scratching the surface, especially our culture and history. Man alive, to know that Treaty 6 and Treaty 7, the dividing line is the Red Deer River. How many people know that? And 4 Indigenous bands like the Cree, the Blood, the Kootenai, the Stonies, and all the rich heritage of our pioneers. And you walk around our town, I don't see it. And I think we got an untapped.
William, I am really sorry to interrupt you, but I need you to stick to the question because we've got lots of questions to get through.
Okay,
so please just, I don't want to cut you off, but I really need you to just answer the question. So I feel that you did. Do you feel that you've answered the question?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Like I said, I'm engaging so I can get on a roll, but that's fine.
All right, Doug, please. Again, if you're elected, what skills or past achievements will you bring with you to the council team?
Okay, you can hear me okay there? Okay, so my training experiences, my operations, safety for many years, I have people skills. Through it, sitting in different committees already, I think will be a bonus to the council and to the town residents.
Thank you so much, Doug. And Jamie?
Hi, everyone. I actually believe strongly that I bring a really unique perspective, a holistic approach to seeing things. I'm a big thinker. I'm a big picture planner. I've sat on a number of different council committees. I've sat on a lot of community boards and have quite a lot of experience there. I bring a unique facility maintenance perspective that will, I think, be helpful when working with council town-owned facilities. So I think just my experience in the town and my experience and understanding of the different boards and committees that exist. I think unifying and understanding their purpose and then grouping them, finding partnerships will help me be a positive member and contributor on council. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Owen? Do you need me to repeat the question, Owen?
No, I got it. If elected as a councillor in Sundre, I believe I can bring a lot of creative problem-solving skills to the table. I have a little bit of past experience sitting on non-for-profit boards, farmers market, board of directors, things like that. But the most important thing I think in my past experience that I bring is a failed business. I have one failed business under my belt and currently have one successful business. And that was my big education into the financial world. So yeah, that's what I bring to the table.
Thank you so much, Owen. And Carolyn?
Well, being one of the only candidate that hasn't been here for, over 10 years or stuff, I believe that I'm going to bring the perspective to the newcomers that come to town as to how wonderful this town really is. I'm a problem solver. I'm a people person. I have great communication skills on top of it, and I have empathy as well. Yeah, sorry, that's it. Oh, I feel so stupid.
Great. No. Thank you. That's great. Thank you. And Chris.
What I would bring to the new council is my experience in business, being on council before, and also I'm a PR guy. So I've been in my industry. I bring people together, and that's what I do in the restaurant business. When you got different personalities and trying to find everything, the way to bring them all together. And I'm a forward thinker. I believe in looking forward, not backwards. So that's what I would bring: a little positivity in this move. Let's try to get a job done.
I don't know why I keep muting. Sorry. So question 2 for mayor candidates. What municipal background and knowledge do you bring with you that will make the residents of this town confident that you are the right choice to be our leader? And we will start with Patty.
Hello, there, okay. What municipal, I'm sorry, could you repeat that question, please?
What municipal background and knowledge do you bring with you that will make the residents of this town confident that you are the right choice to be our leader?
What municipal background? Well, I've sat on many boards. I don't know if that counts as municipal. It is within our...
Sorry, it says knowledge too, Patty.
Knowledge, okay. Customer service I bring. I work with people, I am people. I solve needs. I work with the community on mental health and facilitating healing. I worked with the fire department for 10 years and have a great knowledge of town background through there. What other knowledge can I bring forward? I'm just smart. I don't know.
That's great.
I'm an organizer. I'm a people person. I'm an advocate for unity and togetherness and working together as a team and just moving forward.
Great. Thank you, Patty. And Richard?
Thank you. For municipal background, 2 years on the Municipal Planning Commission, 4 years on council. The knowledge I bring is 50 years of industry experience, with 30 of those in senior management handling real large budgets. When I retired, I was handling an annual budget of over $100 million a year. This takes talent and it takes understanding. I'm not an accountant and I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a self-trained person who gets into the root of the problems. I will bring that knowledge to the table all the time to discuss those issues. Knowledge is important. Leadership is important. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. And Sherry.
I've sat on council for 8 years. I have an accounting background. There's a very different, municipal finance is very different from corporate. So I took the time to take courses in municipal finance. I've taken courses in planning and development. I've taken courses in how to collaborate with your partners. I've been involved in several different provincial-wide groups that I've brought back to the town of Sundre. That's about it.
Great. Thank you, Sherry. All right, current counselors. The new campground is a great idea, but how can a town with such a small tax base afford this? And we'll start with Paul.
When you say, how can we afford this? What exactly are you putting a cost on? The land or the programs or the facilities? What exactly are you asking?
I am just asking the question that was submitted. So I would assume, Paul, that it means that we are having a new campground in the area. And I guess, how is that being funded? So,
Well,
and sorry,
can-
there's a reference for a small tax base there.
Okay. Again, the land purchase was at a very, very minimal cost. There's been lots of discussion between administration, community services, and user groups and the public as to what would work here. So without having those answers, without having found out those answers, I don't really know what the cost is going to be. However, when I see somebody from Vancouver driving all the way out to see a boardwalk that's not completed yet and interested in bringing people from all over North America to Sundre, I think tourism is very big. So it depends on what we're going to build will be what the cost will be. But I do know that in tourism, people will come from all over for different kinds of things. So we need to find that out first before we know what it's going to cost.
Thank you, Paul. Rob, do you want me to repeat the question, Rob?
No, it's fine. I think that we're talking about is not going to be a project that's going to happen in the next 5 years. I think it's more of a 10-year capital plan. So it's going to be putting reserves away to facilitate these upgrades. And it's not going to be a massive burden on our taxpayers because it's going to be a phased in project. And I agree, this is going to definitely promote year-round tourism. If we haven't seen the conceptual plan from our engineer yet as to what it's going to look like in phase one. So it'd be interesting to see what that's going to look like. But this is a phased in project, so it's not going to affect the taxpayers all at once. It's going to go over a 10-year period is what my understanding is.
Okay, thank you, Rob. And Todd?
Thank you. Yeah, I almost want to say a little at a time. The intent of the campground is this development bit by bit as we go. Whether it's provincial or federal government funding, grants, opportunities for investment outside, whether in town or outside from our community to invest into that area, it's meant to be slow. We purchased it at a heck of a deal, costed us darn near nothing, and it is going to be a slow development. It's the connections that council brings with experience and those that have been on council to seek out such grants and have those connections. Because 1 year it may be a small portion, next it may be a couple $1 million development because of such community grants, whether federal, provincial, or private. So yeah, it will be a little at a time. As easy as that. We are not expecting any of our tax base to take a burden of increased taxes in order to fund that campground. There will be give and take as we go and develop, but by no means is this ever going to be a taxpayer bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Okay, and another question for council candidates. What is your primary focus if elected? And we will start with William.
Okay, you want a short answer. So my primary focus would be the culture and the history of Sundre, the untold story. I think that's something we can really focus on. There's a lot of people that know a lot of things that aren't being utilized. So we got to get those folks out and get them together and let's get going on it.
Great, thank you, Will. And Paul?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
What is your primary focus if elected?
Well, let me tell you a short, very short story, and that is probably my answer. I love umping ball, and I love umping in the spring when I'm umping behind the plate in Sundre, watching the Go West, Go Wild riders practice for the rodeo. I love watching the rodeo volunteers get ready for the painting and getting the grass cut. Standing behind home plate, seeing 3 ball diamonds of kids, seeing parents and grandparents behind us. Sometimes there's been soccer games going on, and I look up between pitches and I see about 16 to 18 bikers, bike and ski club, going down up and down Snake Hill. Families. It's a great place to raise families.
Thank you, Paul. Doug?
Okay, you can hear me?
Yeah.
Mine is quite simple too. Community, seniors and youth, transparency and honesty.
Thank you, Doug. Jamie?
I think my focus, there's so many. I'd like to look at the strategic plan, and I imagine we'd be looking at creating a new one or building upon the one already done. So without fully understanding the strategic plan, I am very interested in unique and creative alternative forms of affordable housing. There are there's some really creative options out there, and I'm curious to know if council has seen them, are aware of them, if it's been talked about, if it's been tabled, and if so, why? So affordable housing, creative affordable housing. And I know we have a bunch of annexed land, and I know that we have some unfinished developments, and I'd be very curious and interested to see where we are with those, and let's get it done. And that's my focus primarily.
Thank you, Jamie. Owen?
Yeah, my primary focus, like I said a little bit earlier, is kind of quality of life, which kind of encompasses everything that I think municipal politicians should be doing. And that's helping sustain and build and grow a really nice quality of life for everybody, no matter who you are, your age or your income level. Yeah, if we all can up our quality of life a little bit, then we'll have a really great community. We already have a great community.
Thanks, Owen. And Chris?
Both. Looking for growth, so that includes the housing and the quality of life and every growth of the younger generations coming in. It's about developments for more businesses to come in, and sustainability. To have this all, it's got to be sustainability and responsibility in our community. And that all starts from council and council itself. That's what my main focus is.
Thank you, Chris. Rob?
As I mentioned in my opening statement, with my goals, not promises, my main focus is year-round tourism. I know it's going to take time to get there, but it's a step in the right direction. Affordable housing, again, is a priority because we have this Eagle Hills developer that wants to start, and it's going to start in the fall. So I'm going to continue to advocate for that. There's one other thing that I want to do, the infrastructure. I want to see through the lagoon system because that's a huge savings, and I want to continue with helping and promoting that. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Connie?
Well, we got internet coming now, so that's a great idea. But I would like to see some more work put on streets. We've got some disasters developing and some have already developed. We've got to upgrade our streets to make it a nicer place to live. Sidewalks are included in that too.
Great. Thank you. Todd?
All right, am I working again?
Yeah.
Yeah, primary focus for tomorrow, that's still the question?
Yeah, primary focus.
Yeah, tomorrow. That's it. As everyone's heard so far, and as the general public has slowly heard, is that a lot of great steps and policies, advancements, and projects have started in the past 4 years. We no longer have a looming, project that's going to crush Sundre like our water or our highways. All these things are undergo. It is really continue with the status quo and ensure that step by step, every day, we're ahead of the game again. So whether it's another day, a new business, a new home, a new family that moves to town, continually working forward for advancement in all of those areas, get the dog park in, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I have no one single issue besides continuing to make Sundre better. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Okay, one more question for the mayor candidates. It seems as though Sundre is on the verge of becoming a positive tourist destination. What is your vision for the future of Sundre, and how are you going to lead us effectively? And we will start with Richard.
Thank you. Tourism is definitely a bonus for Sundre, and we have to lead for year-round tourism. It is important that we bring that to the table, but we cannot bring it at a huge cost and expense to our ratepayers. We have to find a way to go for grants, go for funding, work together, make things happen. The focus has to be on that. Tourism is great for Sundre. There's many things that we need to have happen besides tourism. A new hospital is in our forefront. We need to fight for that 10, 20 years down the road. There's lots of things to do. So it is important that we make it a tourist destination. We promote it not only here in our town, but throughout the province with every municipality. I always say Sundre is a great place. Come visit us. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Oh, I lost my thing. Sorry. And now Sherry.
Tourism has been the focus of the town of Sundre for many years now. It is becoming a destination. We're known all over the province because just for the view when you drive over the hill, people come here to have meetings here just because they want to be in our community and they want to see our trails. But at the same time, a lot of taxpayer dollars have been spent on that. And what I'd like to see is tourism still be a top priority, but not the top. There is FCM grants for tourism that we're not reaching out for. There's provincial grants. We need to work together with our neighbors. Mountain View County and Clearwater County and the town of Sundre could do amazing things. if we could work together, it doesn't cost our taxpayers as much if we can build those relationships. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. And I do apologize. My last question, I did miss asking Carolyn for her response. Sorry, Carolyn. Thank you, though, for reaching out in the chat. So that question was, what is your primary focus if elected?
I would like to make sure that Sundre is that destination place, fill up our hotels, our restaurants, any other business that's here in town that could actually, benefit from having more people come through. I don't want Sundre to be just a drive-through town, which it seems to be like in the summertime. Nobody really stops or visits what we have here. So, there's events that we could plan to bring people here, make it an annual thing that would bring people back if it's done right to the town. So that's what I'm looking forward to bringing. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. And again, I apologize for missing you. All right, current councillors, are there any plans in the works to annex the lucrative industrial park west of town?
Monica, I'm sorry, I don't think Richard had a chance to answer the mayor question.
Oh my God.
Richard's turn.
I think it was
It
might have been Patty that got missed.
That's right. Sorry.
Oh, Patty.
We're all doing our best here. Go ahead, Patty.
Okay, I'm gonna reset after this. Okay, Patty, sorry. Do you want me to read that question over?
Yes, please.
Okay, it seems that as though Sundre is on the verge of becoming a positive tourist destination. What is your vision for the future of Sundre, and how are you going to lead us effectively? Oh, man.
While I think that tourism plays a big part in Sundre, and it always has, I don't think it should be our primary focus at this point. People, there's no business here. I'm not seeing people actually stopping in Sundre. They're driving through, they're avoiding it because of the traffic circles. There's so many problems around most of that where we need to create a welcoming environment, little shops, local businesses where we draw them in. We have a beautiful parking lot behind the hotel that's not being used. And I think these traffic circles are a burn, and they're a burr in my butt. As far as that comes, I look at our tourism, and it's drawing people to the West Country right through town. We're not advertising anywhere that I have seen where we're drawing them into town. What are we doing to promote Sundre? Not just driving through to the Yahatinda or to go whitewater rafting or whatever. These things are all great and they play their part. We need to focus on what Sundre can give tourism. And that's where I want to see things go. Yes, it has a part, but it needs to be not the primary focus. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. And thanks for reaching out in the chat. Again, sorry, guys. All right, current councillors. Are there any plans in the works to annex the lucrative industrial park west of town, as well as the Sundre Airport? This would give the town a much greater tax base and make it sustainable. So we will start with Rob.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Todd.
There we go. Yeah, same as Rob. No, we haven't heard that at all. To speak to that item though, previous councils of the day, and this is now 10 plus years ago besides ourselves, we've seen annexations happen. Over 10 years ago, they expected a 3% growth in population from Sundre. On a 3% annual growth, we should have 3,700 people right now. We don't. Up till north of 10th, there was nothing there. There was 11th of 12th. I've been here 10 years. They haven't built beyond that street. the vision is there for all those candidates and public that say we need business, we need this, and we need that, and tourism. We all agree with that.
Okay, thanks, Todd. But your answer is no, correct? Okay, and Paul.
There has been discussion between the ICC, between the town of Sundre and the county of Mountain View 2 terms ago for possible annexation. The West Industrial Park would be a great contribution for a tax base for the town of Sundre. The county of Mountain View has not allowed any discussion to happen with that. Or the cost, they have said, would be so high that it would be quite expensive. It would be a debenture to almost get it. There has never been a discussion about the airport. At one point, the county of Mountain View was considering closing it, of which then we worked with the committee to fight to keep it open.
Okay, thank you so much, Paul. All right, and for our new candidates, here is this is our last question that's kind of segregated, and then we have just a couple. And I do appreciate you guys for staying on and trying to work through these questions. So I feel that it is the duty of the elected official to represent the people he or she is elected to serve. Please explain how you intend to get to know the thoughts and opinions of residents of Sundre so that you can represent them well. And we will start with Doug.
You can hear me? Can you hear me there? Okay. Basically, communication is huge. Huge to a lot of our seniors have built this town, and I think getting them involved. Earlier, I had mentioned the fact of getting the seniors involved with the youth and feeling that everybody's important. So I think getting out newsletters. Not everyone follows the websites. I know it's the new generation. I'm maybe a little more fortunate, even at my age, to be involved with being able to know how to turn a computer on. There's a lot my age that don't. So it's still got to stick to paper in a lot of ways, get it out. And we probably even bulletin boards around town will help. Everybody goes to the post office. I noticed that bulletin boards down now. And yeah, hopefully some of that will help.
Great, thank you, Doug. And Jamie?
I feel like when you sit together on council, one of the current sitting members mentioned there's about 23 or 28 community groups that we all share. So we have the opportunity to sit on a number of community groups, and then collectively we come back to council with written reports or oral reports. And I think that is one really great way of divide and conquer. So we can all figure out what each group is working with, struggling with, what their values are, what their focus and priority is. Your open houses, I know, have not typically been populated very well, and that's sad. For sure, your strategic planning, definitely having community input would be another way of getting the community involved. I definitely feel like if we're open, I'm not sure about your communications plan when counselor, but I think just having that transparent open door policy where people can come in, phone, email, and just touch base and share their thoughts, we would focus on as well.
Great, thank you, Jamie. Owen?
Can you say the question one more time so I nail it?
Absolutely. I feel that it is the duty of the elected official to represent the people that he or she is elected to serve. Please explain how you intend to get to know the thoughts and opinions of the residents of Sundre so that you can represent them well.
Yeah, for me, I'm from Sundre, and I I live here. I spend the vast amount of money I make here. I walk the length of the town or bike almost every day to and from work. I have a small business in town that I'm accessible at. My kids go to school here. I spend, again, vast amount of my time in this town and being with other folks that live in this town. So I think just being accessible and engaged within the community would allow me to represent the community.
Great, thank you. And Carolyn?
Absolutely go out and talk to people. You know, that's the best way to find out what their thoughts and ideas are. Like, there is no such thing as a bad idea. Whether we can make it happen or not is another thing. I am a sociable person. I believe in the gift of the gab, you know, and people come into the museum. I ask them all sorts of questions, that kind of thing. So I think we're open and honest with them, and our communication is out there we're not hiding anything. I think would be the best way to communicate with everybody, to get their ideas. Thanks.
Thank you, Carolyn. And Chris?
Accessible. I've got business in town. People come and go every day. I talk to tons of people every single day. So, and I sit on a bunch of committees. So I'm actually really accessible. I'm like Owen, I'm always walking around doing something or spending money in town or going to the local IGA, which my wife really hates because I can never leave there on time. So I'm accessible to anybody and I can bring those forward to the council. Simple.
Thank you. Connie?
I'd just like to point out, Chris, that IGA went away when Friesen Brothers took over. I do it just like my business. I question people as to what their needs, what their desires are, and what they want to see on their vehicle. I do the same as a counselor. I'd find out what they want, and then we'll have to work on see what we can do for you.
Great, thank you, Connie. And William?
Okay, so you're touching on my humanity here. To be honest with you folks, this is why I ran for town council in Rimbey, because the community wanted something done, but they didn't get the support of the elected officials. And from my experience in Sundre, I think people need to be once again encouraged and given some hope that when they're on a committee or a board or they're asked for an opinion, that it really matters, that it's going to have some sort of effect on a vision, on a plan for how they want to live their lives out in our community. And I can tell you from experience, I think, I'm going to say it, to heck with it, I think there's a lot of hurt people out there in our community. And we need to encourage them to come back. And I like Richard's idea of having town hall meetings. That might be a good place to start. So.
Okay, good, thank you, Will. All right, we're almost getting through them all here. Are you guys doing okay? Is everyone okay? Okay. All right, so we've got 5 more questions left. We will start with the first one. So this is a little bit of a lengthy one, so I'm hoping you guys won't get me to repeat this too often. Oh, Rob. No, Rob, you weren't in that one. It was for new candidates. You weren't supposed to answer this last one.
But
None of the rest of them did. You can't. Well, you probably could, but we won't. Let's start with these 5. Okay. So this is a bit of a lengthy question. Okay. I've cut it down as much as I could in order for this question to actually have the background. But in the past decade, there have been over 100,000 spent on consultations to guide the development of parks, trails, and open spaces. In the last few years, much attention has been paid to the Highway 27 corridor regarding beautification and accessibility, which might seem disproportionate considering the direction of those paid consultations. Where do you feel the town of Sundre's priorities, i.e. regarding parks, trails, and open spaces? And examples, dog park, off-leash dog park, trail connectivity, trail signage, parking, etc. And we will start with Jamie.
Okay, so that's a full question. I am lucky in that I used to work in the municipal setting 10 years ago. And I know that the council of the day engaged in a municipal sustainability plan. And the administration and council felt that it was so important that they actually merged it into the current development plan. Parks and trails. And I think that, again, it shows how important recreation, indoor and outdoor, plays in residents currently and in the past. I know for ourselves as a family moving here, it was one of the reasons why we chose Sundre. So priorities, all outdoor recreation and indoor recreation, I feel, are a priority. I don't know if we need to focus so much on structural playground parks right now. I feel like council has addressed that and has done a bunch. Wayfinding signage, your trail system, and your dog park is an idea that you guys brought up in past years, and I'd be very interested in visiting that again. And then, of course, a year-round multiplex was once discussed but tabled. And so again, just curious to know where that is and what's going on. So I think in the past decade, indoor and outdoor recreation was a focus and priority of council. I don't think current council has changed too much. And I know me moving into council position, should I be so lucky, I would also make that a priority and just continue to build on what they've already been working towards.
Great, thank you, Jamie. Owen.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna throw the previous council a bone here on this one. I think that from my understanding, the town has had a couple big hurdles to get over, and that was crap internet and the lagoon system, which needed to be upgraded. So the town has done that now. We've got over those, and kudos to previous councils for getting us there. So now I believe that all of those consultations, if that number is true, all that money spent on consultations about recreation, I think now is the time that the town moves forward on recreation, because recreation, in my opinion, is what holds the two major things in Sundre together. Like we're pushing for tourism and we want to increase our quality of life for our residents, and recreation is what's going to tie that together. You pour into recreation infrastructure, from trails to facilities, indoor, outdoor, all of that's accessible for all ages and all incomes, then you really lift this community up a level. So I think that the community's been, speaking into those consultations over the years, now I think is the time that the council moves forward on those things.
Great, thank you, Owen. Carolyn.
Hi, I know that part of that question had to do with the street front and the signage that is on Highway 27. I think is a great idea, a great incentive for people to stop by and learn about our history by taking a walk or a stroll down that boardwalk. I also think that we need to have something our young people to do here in town that maybe doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And I'm thinking of those ideas myself, but I think for most kids out there, when they start vandalizing or doing something, is because they're bored and they have nothing else to do. So I would like to explore possible activities or new things of what's coming up in the day I have a teenage son and I know everything's electronic these days, but I think we should definitely look into some more outdoor activities for our younger generation as well as our older.
Thank you, Carolyn. Chris?
I truly believe in indoor and outdoor activities. Back in the days, the councils did spend money, like $100,000, if like you say there. But like in every other business, you got to spend a little bit for the future. So that's what a lot of people do, and even in business, you got to. It's like a 10-year plan. You got to. If we're gonna be here in 10 years, we got to plan forward for it. And in order for us to plan for it, we got to bank for it. And this is what we got to do, baby steps along the way. I truly believe that when you have indoor and outdoor activities, that draws young families. And anytime you have and that makes a community very vibrant. And when it's vibrant, it attracts people to live here. They want to be here, and the future is in our children and everything else. So that's what I truly believe in it. And I think we've done great with it. And like Owen previously said, the town council has had big problems or big hurdles to jump over nowadays. But now we're back on track. They've done a lot of the heavy lifting, all the councils prior, and now it's time to move forward. And I truly believe in outdoor activities with indoors for sure.
Thank you, Chris. Rob?
I certainly, excuse me, I certainly fully support funding outdoor recreation trails, pathways. To an extent, you know, we enhance these items for the purpose of our residents. You know, we do get use, and I think we should continue to do so. Thank you.
Just want to give you a heads up, Rob. Your internet, you're kind of like slow mode in some spots. So some of what you said came through, but did you guys hear that also, or from him? Yeah.
Yep, and just a heads up, if you're if that's happening, I will private message you, and it is an option to turn off your video while you're speaking, and that might help.
Okay. Thank you, Kim.
I have
All right.
noticed other people that have been speaking. It's been freezing.
Okay. Connie, do you need me to repeat the question, Connie?
Yes, please.
Okay. In the past decade, there has been over 100,000 spent on consultations to guide the development of parks, trails, and open spaces. In the last few years, much attention has been paid to the Highway 27 corridor regarding beautification and accessibility, which might seem disproportionate considering the direction of the consultations. Where do you feel the town of Sundre's priorities lie regarding parks, trails, and open spaces? Example, off-leash dog park trail connectivity.
I think the trails need to be connected. That's definitely one thing that should be expanded. But also, we need to work on ball diamonds. We need to work on soccer fields. We need to work on outdoor recreation, get people out and get them doing something and exercising. Sure, the arena is great. It works well. It gets used a lot. Curling rink, swimming pool, all these facilities are necessary. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Todd?
I think it's my turn. I'm not quite understanding the question, but I think I got it. So one of two things. Is the question on justification of spending 100,000? Because a lot of that, it almost seems like too little. We've done a lot of studies, a lot of work's been done, and even more than that has been spent on trails. With some of those same studies or information that was gathered allowed us access to many grants for tree planting, for trailheads, for signage, for equipment, for doing parks, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So that number is actually way higher than that. Those certain specifics is certainly going to be somewhere on the balance sheet, but a lot more has been spent there. You know,
So
depending on the facility.
sorry, Todd, I'll
Go ahead.
just, I'll kind of just, what it really is asking is, where do you feel the town of Sundre's priorities lie regarding parks, trails, and open spaces?
Well, it's expanding on all, really. And, you know, as I said before, many of those things that it's all year by year, you know, until we build a full tri-service building or a full recplex and combine all of those features, it's just going to be bit by bit. And every year we increase trail access, we remove trees, we widen trails, make them longer. Yeah, we do very much put a priority on it, but we can't also burden the taxpayer more and more to do more. We do a little at a time through those grants and the manpower that we have, or administration has. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Todd. Paul?
Being there, I know that the town is very much wanting to pursue trails, way signs. So tourists do know where they can stop and do know where they can go. There's been dialogue right now with putting up a dog park. So hopefully that will come in the next year or sooner. But yeah, the town's priority is very much in line with all of those things. Most of the money that has been spent on this has come from grants or potential development green spaces. So very little money has come out of taxpayers for any of this.
Great, thank you, Paul. And Sherry?
I know that when people hear the word plans, some assume that it's negative and that the plans will just sit on a shelf. But that can't be further from the truth. The plans assist us when we are building the budget. The plans like the master rec plan and the outdoor spaces, they allow the needs to be precisely laid out to build the budgets. Currently, right now, for many years now, we've had money in the capital budget for trail connectivity. We have signage. There's an operational budget for outdoor rec all on its own. So money is being spent there, but it is true that we have had a lot of focus on the larger infrastructure that we've been plagued with. But it is there, it is in the budget.
Thank you. Patty?
Okay, I'm just gathering my thoughts on this one. So I think everybody else kind of got confused. I mean, we've been spending all this money on consultation and whatever, and I understand where Sherry is coming from, where it needs to be there for the planning and the budgeting and all that other stuff. And I think we need to put our focus on what our kids are doing. What are we providing our kids? What are we doing to keep them busy? What are we doing to keep the adults busy? I believe that we need to work on our infrastructure for hockey, and affordability is huge. Not everybody can afford minor hockey. Not everybody can afford to put skates on their kids. I think we need to take a look at affordable recreation and drawing people here that can say, hey, Sundre's got all these programs. They've got these trails, the connectivity. I think it's great. We need to focus on what Sundre can provide for us here as young families and draw people in. I'm not privy to all of the other information that prior council is there. I don't know what's going on with the master rec plan and all that other stuff. We're going to learn if I'm so fortunate to get in. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to know. I just know that I want to focus more on what we have to provide for our residents and our kids. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Patty. And Richard?
Thank you for the question. Yes, there's been lots of money spent to get the studies done. But without those studies, you can't apply for grants in most cases because they want a copy of your plan. They want a book when you apply for grants to get things done. And without grants, it's very difficult. The connectivity is important. The town has worked towards doing that on the west end. We have Center Street North that we've worked on for connectivity. Some work needs to be done to get more connectivity down to the river trails. That I agree with, and to the east side. So what is their priorities going to be? Work within the budget, work within the funding, and search for the grants. We do that, it'll all come together for our residents. We just don't want to go out there and spend money, success, and without something coming forward to show that it worked. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our downtown section of town looks like a cement graveyard. Mild attempts at putting in small flower boxes have occurred to help beautify this area. What serious, major, long-term solutions would you implement to help the downtown part of Sundre be more attractive to not only tourists, but also Sundre's own citizens and tourist-related businesses? And we'll start with Owen.
That's quite the way to describe downtown. I do believe that Sundre's architecture may not be as beautiful as some other surrounding towns' architecture. And a lot of that, I think, comes on, like, that's not exactly up to the municipality. So the municipality can do a certain amount of things to, like, flower boxes are great. And there's certain things that we can do with the land that the town owns, but a lot of it comes down to supporting the businesses to be creative and pour some beauty into their buildings, because the town doesn't own those buildings. And I know back when my mother opened a business years ago in the early 2000s, the town had put a big focus on making Sundre look cowboy themed or Western themed, and was supporting some grants in that way. And maybe the town can try something like that again. But really, ultimately, it comes down to the actual owners of those buildings, and how creative they're feeling. So if we foster a place where businesses can come and feel creative and want to contribute and make their space more beautiful, then I'm all in.
Thank you, Owen. Carolyn?
Well, I agree with what Owen had to say. I mean, if the buildings aren't owned by the town, there's really not much that the town can do unless they're going to give them money to beautify their buildings to, look the same, or the quaintness or charm as what we want to portray in Sundre. So, I mean, I think I agree with you. The cement blocks, whoever asked that question, it does look like that. It looks like a very sterile faces. So I'm with Owen. Thanks.
Thank you, Carolyn. Chris?
That's a tough question, eh? No, actually, realistically, as I think the town's got grants out there already for businesses that try to beautify their buildings. They put greeneries and stuff like that. And I've known, because I've taken advantage of that. So, and when we're on a highway corridor like that, what the town's planning on doing with an overlay over top of the center, our main avenue and stuff like that. And when there's buildings so close to the road, there's not much a municipality can do other than help them give grants to ease the pain on the cost of when they're. So it's on upon our business owners as well, and buildings owners, to kind of beautify their own building. It's also a little pride of ownership on our house and stuff like that. So with the town contribution, we can work together, and it won't look as bad. But it always takes one or two people to work together, and the town does do give the grant. So we'd like to continue that, I'm sure.
Thank you, Chris. Rob?
I agree with Chris. It is up to the business owners to enhance their frontage, and I applaud Chris for doing so with what he did. With the overlay, it is in the engineer's hands, so that is happening in the next little while. I'm not sure if it's going to happen next year, but there is plans to maybe make it more safe, make it more beautiful. I don't know. We haven't seen those plans. But Highway 27 obviously is government owned property, It's what the business owners want to do to beautify their frontage. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Connie?
Well, I'm a little back off of Highway 27, but I think that, like everybody else has said, they've got to take pride in their own buildings and work on it themselves. There is grants from the town. I've heard about them. I haven't used any of them, but then my building's not that old. So I think with the help of the town and people want to beautify their own buildings, it should be accomplished quite easy.
Thank you, Connie. Todd?
There we go. Sorry. Hopefully you can hear me again. Yeah, just as it says before, we do have those grants. We do encourage that. We do help that developers come in and talk to administration to find out what the plan is, to have policy in place for new developments that come through. So that way new buildings that do get built along any stretch of the roads will have not so much a theme, but a cohesivity for Sundre. So it isn't a mismatch again. However, it's not council's, I don't want to say responsibility because that's not right. It is very hard for us to take vacant properties that, as quoted, is a graveyard and get businesses into them, regardless of whether it's a rent cost or a business case scenario. It is very hard. They have tried many times over the past decade to invite businesses in. Unfortunately, we can't force those to be filled, but we are trying. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Paul?
Well, I think most people have answered it. There are grants that we as a municipality will give to businesses if they want to beautify their place. So there is only so much money, but yet we are willing to help with that. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. And sorry, Doug?
You can hear me?
Yeah.
First, I'd like to say that's a pretty good looking beard you had there, Todd. Should have kept that one. Storefronts, I think that one's pretty much everyone's agreeing on that. There is grants on there to do that. The flower boxes, I'm just amazed that we haven't smashed into them more. Chris, awesome job in putting the trees out front on yours again. I'm sure so you did get a little bit of a grant back from there. All that certainly helps.
Thank you, Doug. Jamie?
I think really, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I do recall, you know, a point.
You're froze, Jamie. Okay, I think she's froze for, if we get her back, we'll come back. So Sherry will, oh, she's on mute. Okay, Sherry, go ahead.
Okay, the only thing that I wanted to add, there's a few things. There's two businesses that have taken advantage of our grant program to beautify their property. The flower boxes, they were donated by a member of the community in attempts to beautify while
History.
we wait. The road is owned by the province, but I have expectations that through the engineering process, our staff will be involved and we will try and push as much of the beautification aspect as we possibly can. But they have to look at the fact that it's a high load corridor. At least twice to 3 times a week, a load comes through that takes up 3/4 to all of the road. So they also have to take that in, but I do have expectations that staff will be involved in the consultation process for the engineering of the overlay road in the next year or so.
Thank you, Sherry. Patty?
boom. Our downtown section. I don't know what the answer is on this one.
Okay,
No, there's so much that needs to be done in this downtown core, and I don't know what the answer is down there. Those circles aren't helping us, and I don't like them, and I'm not going to be quiet on it. I hate those circles. They got to go. So I'm going to say on that one, thank you.
thanks, Patty. Okay, Richard?
Okay, thank you. There is a lot of work that we can do within our community services, hanging flower baskets, things like that. But we have to be so careful on the Highway 27 corridor, as mentioned, because you can't have hanging baskets hanging over top of the street because they're not going to stay there when the house gets moved through Sundre. So there are things that we can do. We can't have a big boulevard down the middle like you have in other places where you got flats and so on. It just doesn't work. So we have to work together. Community services, I mean, I wish I could get my hanging baskets to look as good as theirs. Whatever staff member gets them watered and fertilizes, I would like to see that, because on Main North, they're great, and the flower baskets. So we have to work on that. Is there a long-term solutions? I think that I agree that we will have great communication when we see the engineering plans for Highway 27, 22, and hopefully we can incorporate some of that in there that will make it so that when people drive through, they'll want to stop here. That's our goal. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. And William?
Yeah, okay, I I would think that Connie would support me on this, but I think we need a really, really strong, dynamic, bold, enthusiastic Chamber of Commerce. I don't know how we get that going. Get all the businesses pulling in the same direction. I think that would really, really help. And I applaud the work of John Allen and Communities in Bloom. I think John's been out walking around talking to businesses, so good on him. It's all about vision and working together as a community, coming together and having some idea of who we are and what services we provide for our residents and tourists.
Great, thank you, William. Also, William, I will just ask you where you feel the town of Sundre's priorities are regarding parks, trails, and open spaces. Because I did miss William.
Thank you for that. I'm an advocate for the environment, a very strong advocate for the environment. In all my years of conservation work, we talked about upgradation of the environment, not degradation. And the way you get people interested in the environment is creating an awareness and getting them out there and enjoying just the great diversity, biodiversity of life we have in Sundre area. Like I saw a flock of common mergansers on the Red Deer the other day, just incredible fishing. They were fishing. And the Greenwood Neighborhood Place survey, 80% of the returns on the survey was about how important the trails are. So I'd be all for sticking a whack of money into getting our trails up to a development stage. It was like at the Bull River in Banff, families out enjoying themselves, just hundreds of people. It was beautiful to see there on Banff last weekend during Melissa's run. People stopping, going to cafes, outdoor cafes. It's fantastic. So I would pour a lot of money into that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, William, for that. Okay, we're almost done here. Some people in our community say that we have traffic problems. What do you think, and how do you mitigate those or even change the situation? So I will just say for these last two, because we are almost over an hour here. So we're going to start. I would like everyone to have the opportunity to answer one question first. So we are going to start with Chris. And I would urge if the candidates are not, like if they don't have anything to add to that someone else has said, then you're more than welcome to just say that what you believe has already been said by Paul or whoever you want. So that I'll just urge you for that. So Chris, go ahead.
Say that again for me because I missed it.
Sure. Yeah, and I was rambling. Sorry. What ideas do you have to, oh, sorry. Some people in our community say that we have traffic problems. What do you think? And how would you mitigate those concerns or change the situation?
Oh, geez. I don't know the traffic. I don't know if we have traffic problems as bad as we did due to the way the traffic is moving now. The only time I really notice we have a traffic problem is on a long weekend when Alberta Transportation, I think it is, they manage those lights. They shorten the lights up, or they don't make them long enough realistically. And the only things we can do as a council, because it's not our road, it is a highway, is we'll bring whatever ideas we got forth as we come together to kind of bring them forth to Alberta Transportation. But coming off a side road, I'm finding now it's a lot easier to get off a side road to get on the main road. So I don't see as much traffic problems as we did in the past, other than a long weekend when the lights are changed.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Is there any other candidates that would like to speak to this question? Okay, we have Todd and Jamie and Doug and Owen. Okay, so Todd, go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick addition to Chris there. Traffic can sometimes be a very slight inconvenience, and we go from 4 minutes to 10 minutes to cross town. What many people fail to understand at times is the road through being a 20 series is maintained by the government. The additional cost to take care of that road within our borders, if it was to be moved, would not be a lot of dollars. On top of that, being the high load corridor brings industry through. There is only certain directions certain goods can go, and that is through Sundre. That allows certain economic availabilities, whether it's fuel, whether it's stops, hotels, crew pits, and such. It brings more here. Timing of the lights, they've done the research, they've watched it, it flows pretty good. We're pretty lucky in Sundre when we say where we are impatient and it took another 2 minutes to get downtown or get the mail. We're still only 6 blocks long. It never takes very long. Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Okay, Jamie.
Yeah, I think if I just add quickly to this, it would help for when I was cut off earlier. I remember when the town of Sundre had to fight to have the Highway 27 corridor come through our community. We were looking at getting bypassed. We would have likely failed as a community had the highway not come this way. And so instead of seeing this as a problem, I see this as an opportunity. We have inherited something, and we have an opportunity now to look at some creative ways to mitigate these travel issues. But one of the things I recognized when I first moved here after living in Calgary is it took me 6 minutes doorknob to doorknob to get to work from home. And if that is a traffic jam, I will take that traffic jam every day of the week instead of taking an hour and a half to get to work from Calgary. So we are lucky that this is our problem. I enjoyed the traffic circles. Getting across the highway north-south is slick as a bug. And I think that was a creative option that Council of the Day working with the Chamber brought forward. Is it working? I don't know. But it's definitely something that we can continue to work on together, and I would happily like to do that.
Thank you. Owen?
Yeah, the only thing I would add is that traffic is something that's always going to be an issue. It requires creative problem solvings. You look at any municipality anywhere, and they've got traffic issues to make better. But what I will add is that what I think we need on this next council and on every council is really strong leadership that is willing to collaborate with the provincial government, no matter who's sitting in the ledge in Edmonton. Our leadership, our council, our mayor needs to be able to advocate and work with them so that traffic issues can get dealt with and creative solutions can get found.
Awesome. Doug?
Yeah, we've missed a couple. I agree with everything everyone said. We do have a couple of points that get jammed up. The Bergen Road coming on to 27, Highway 22 to 854. The rodeo grounds going to Center Street during school hours and that, and not sure what the answers are, but a lot of that is summer traffic, of course, but it is something that should be looked after.
Okay, thank you. And Sherry?
I just want to add and take it away from the main corridor. We also have had some concerns within the community of speeds. What I would like to see is a better relationship with our RCMP and our municipal enforcement. I would like to see us be a cohesive team that's working together to slow these people down, because usually when they're speeding, it is in areas where there's children, there's seniors, and we need to make sure that we're slowing people down and making sure that they're following the speed limits. Thank you.
Great. I think I got everybody. Did I miss anyone that wanted to speak on that? Okay, last question. You guys are troopers. Okay, so it seems that the newer MGA gives administration staff more authority than elected officials. What are your thoughts on this? If there is an issue within the scope of administration, how would you best address it? And we are going to start with Carolyn answering that. And then we'll open it up if any other candidates would like to answer.
Hi, as I stated before, I worked for over 6 years at the city of Grand Prairie, and a lot of the administration questions or problems go through the CAO. And if it's really a tough problem, I don't really remember too often where the mayor or council stepped in to say that they were overstepping their line. I think that they have an agenda that is comparable to what the candidates have. So personally, I don't see any problem with that. Thanks.
Is there anyone else that would like to answer on the script? Richard?
Thank you. The MGA is over 500 pages, and it takes some real studying and training to be able to comprehend everything that's in there. The rewrite of the MGA made some changes that put it where municipalities have to work together to stop the increasing costs of services between each other. Combined services, combined revenue, combined costs. And this therefore makes it so it looks like all of a sudden the administration has got all these powers, when in reality, when it comes to that, they really have to bring all the money to council. Council looks at the budgets, council looks at how they're going to go about it, and looks at their recommendations. The MGA is very complex, and there are rules and regulations that councillors, including mayors, have to follow. There are things that we cannot do, even though they're used to be done in the past. Years ago, councillors could go out and tell a maintainer operator how to maintain the road. That created employment issues and all those kind of things that just came to light. So that had to change, and that was changed a long time ago. You know, public participation and engagement is important, but leadership is important, and the MGA does give us guidelines that we have to work under. Whether we could change it, I think it's a good MGA. I think there's some things that have come out of it where we have controlled budgeting, and I like that. Thank you.
And was there anyone else that wanted to? Sherry?
I just want to add that the CAO can only do what she's directed by council to do. There is no more power. She's given the direction of council through the budget and all of the processes, and then it's her job to carry out the direction of council. She doesn't have any greater power. It is all on council on how they are going to make the community run. And the MGA changes aren't necessarily just for the CAO. It gives protection for the council members and their legal obligation and their liabilities if they get involved in parts of the municipality that they're not allowed to. It's not all a bad thing. It's just increased protection.
Thank you, Sherry. Is there anyone else that wanted to answer that? Okay, I was smiling there because Chris, actually his computer died, but I see he got back on. I really, really want to say thank you to you guys for your commitment. We went way over. All of you stayed on like troopers. Does anyone have any last thing that they, not campaign, but is there anything that you feel that I've missed or anything? No?
I'd like to say something finally. Is that all
Okay,
right?
sure, if you keep it quick.
Okay, really quick. So I've worked with CAOs from the MD of Bighorn,
Oh,
County of Mountain View, County of Camrose. These CAOs work very, very hard. They're highly educated people, and we need to respect their knowledge and try and work with these individuals because, you know, folks, it's a tough, tough job. It really is. And so I appreciate all the hard efforts of Linda, and I think she's qualified. And it's about council working with her and directing her properly and building a relationship so we can move the town forward.
Thank you, William. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were wanting to answer that question. I thought you wanted to say something. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, thank you guys all again, and big thank you, Kim, for keeping us and also staying in on all the extra time. So I'll learn for if we ever have to do it again, that's for sure. Thank you guys, and good luck to everybody. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you, Monica. It was great with COVID. You've done a good job. Be proud. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you. Good luck,
See
everyone.
you guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Kim.
Good luck.